Hey everybody, it's another episode of Financial Freeway, but today we're upstairs in the library and I'm not on the road because I've had an exhausting weekend. I had two magic shows back to back Saturday night, which just wiped me out. Friday was a day of doing some more decorating, getting ready, a full day at the office, as well as having to do I like to call it a talk off the ledge, a conversation with one of our clients. They were a little concerned about some things, so I had to, walk them through it, and which is something I don't mind doing. I'm quite happy to spend the time with it, but it is part of the business. It's part of the job. It's part of the industry of when you're doing property management. Sometimes people are a little concerned about the property. It's their investment, and they want to make sure it's being managed properly, and that they're also getting the best return for their investment. So we had like I say, a talking off the ledge conversation, which exhausting, but it's necessary. So it's been a busy weekend. Today it's Sunday, and the sun is shining. It was a really stormy night last night. But me and Gabby ended up the night at a really cool fundraiser. Met some really interesting people, and if you can see behind me there, you can see my whiskey collection. I met some people from Kentucky, and I was like, "Oh boy, I love your bourbon." So it was a good conversation. So this morning, when me and Gabby were having our coffee and talking about the day and how we're gonna lay it out, we started talking about past traumas. And I don't care who you are, you've got some past trauma. Something's happened. I don't care how beautiful your life was. The universe, destiny, whatever you might want to call it, the path that's laid out for all of us is we've had trauma. And the difference between successful people and non-successful people are the people that are able to overcome that past trauma and use it. And here's the funny thing. I'm slowly becoming a fan of Goggins, Dave Goggins. I wasn't a big fan of him in the beginning, but I'm slowly starting to realize he's got some truth to some of the things he says. But he talks about how when the mind tells you to stop, you still have miles to go. And it's true. And when I was younger and I was hardcore into martial arts, there were some days and some moments when I thought the tank was empty, and I thought, you know what? Let's just see if I can leave it on the mat. Let's see if I can leave it here, and let's just push it. Let's push it until I pass out. Let's just push my body until I collapse. Let's just see how far I can push it. My mind was saying I was tired, I was exhausted, my lungs were burning, my muscles were burning, the adrenaline was going, so all the major muscle groups were like jelly. But I found that it doesn't even take digging deep. That's the thing. It's not a digging deep kind of thing. It's there. We all have it. When your mind says, I'm tired, the tank is empty, I've got no more left, you actually do have plenty left. Like, there is more left in the tank than we truly believe. And the further we get away from our caveman survival, you got to hunt your breakfast every single morning, the further we get away from that, the further we get away from that ability to actually dig deep into our souls, into our bodies, past when our mind says it's done. Because I believe that when your mind says, I'm done, it's only because that's as far as your mind has gotten used to going through. Like, you've only got to this point in the past. You've never gone past it. So your mind says, okay, now we got to shut down. If you have ever gone past it, your mind would not do that. Your mind would be like, no, we got plenty left in the tank. Let's keep going. So now when I revert this back to when I'm talking about trauma, a lot of people go through trauma and they go, I can't go past this because this was a traumatic experience. And if you get close to that experience again, you don't want to address it. And You won't push past it, and the problem is that's where you'll stay. You won't be able to get into a place of success and living a life of actual abundance if you allow your past trauma to hold you back. Now, the funny thing is when you push past that trauma, when you push past that event in your mind, and you're actually on the other side, it doesn't seem like it was a big deal. As you're going up, and it's a great metaphor, is going up a hill, hiking up a hill with your skis on the back, and you hike and hike and hike, and you get so close, and you're just like, I can't do it anymore. But if you go another 10 feet, you're going to be able to coast and just sail. And then you'll look back and you go, that wasn't as hard as I thought it was. It's tough. Life's tough. There is things that come up, and I'm not unempathetic to the trials that people have to go through, and the fact that people have to live with some past traumas. There's some things out there, no matter what. Amanda Marshall says everyone's got a story that'll break your heart, and it's true. Everyone has past trauma in their life. The trick is to understand that trauma does not define you, and to push past it. And sometimes it's gritting your teeth and just doing it. And sometimes it's that simple. It's just like, okay, yeah, it sucked. Whatever happened, that sucked. But you know what? We're going to move forward, and we're going to, we're not going to let it define us. And we're going to keep going towards that life that we're looking for, that life we envision. This was a bump, a hiccup, a detour in our journey. And there's sometimes when you just can't do it. You're gonna need help. You're gonna need to talk to someone. You're gonna need some professional counseling and some therapy to get through it. And there's no shame in that. But the thing is to not let the trauma stop you, whatever it is. That's things will happen that you will be a victim of, but that does not mean you get to have a victim mentality. Yes, you might have been in a car wreck. You might have been fired unjustly. Some other more horrific things might have happened. Heck, you might have been in a situation where there was actually war, and you were in the middle of that. Yes, that was a victim. You might not have been even remotely involved, and were a casualty in that. But, and this is a huge but, you can't let that define you. If you do, you will be stuck, and it will never be your fault. That's the thing. It'll never be your fault that you are where you are, or you're a victim of happenstance or circumstance. But you can't put it on a resume. You can't put it on a mortgage application. You can't put it on anything that's going to get you forward in life and say, this is why I deserve something. It doesn't work that way. Life doesn't work that way. You have to move past it and understand it's part of the baggage you're going to be carrying with you further into your life. So it is a challenge. And like I said, me and Gabby were talking this morning, and she was telling me stories about her past, and I was like, wow, I mean, we all have it. We all have that story that is in and I don't care who you are. There's something back there. And what may be a trauma to you might not be trauma to me, and vice versa. What I thought was tremendous and horrific, you might think, well, that's not a big deal. That doesn't matter, because it is about perspective, and pain is pain, but it doesn't give you an excuse to sit back and curl up in a ball and just let life wash over you. It's not. Sorry, actually, it does give you an excuse. And there's a lot of people out there that they're okay with you just sitting there going, yes, I'm a victim. It's not my fault. It was my parents' fault. It was my teacher's fault. It was the whatever, the predator's fault, the enemy's fault, whatever it is. There are some people out there who are actually like, yeah, we'll let you do that, and we'll let you just nurse those wounds for a long time. The universe doesn't care, and unfortunately, that's the reality of it. You got to get out there, and you got to actually change the narrative, change the story, change your story, So if you are in a situation where you're dealing with trauma, I say, honestly, and I know I go over this again, have a cold shower. Having a cold shower shocks the system. Drink 8 glasses of water a day. Get outside, breathe outside air, and do that for at least 45 minutes. Listen to classical music. And if you don't like classical music, and I've said this before, listen to soundtrack music. There's some great composers out there that make some great music, and it helps clear the mind. The worst thing you can do is sit there and listen to music that talks about how sad life is and how hard life is. It doesn't help. It just exacerbates the situation. What you need to do is you need to give your body and your mind a shock. Cold water on the body, drink lots of water, get outside, go for walks, listen to classical music. These are very simple things and they're free. They're absolutely free. I cannot I cannot say this enough. You don't need a magic pill. No, okay, actually, I should back that up. Maybe you do need some help. But until you can get yourself to get that help, I would say try this. Try this free prescription from Dr. Dave Atwood and get some cold water on you. Have a 3-minute cold shower and get in there, do that first thing in the morning. Have 8 glasses of water. Make it a point. In fact, before you have your first cup of coffee, have a glass of water. And then when you go to bed, glass of water. Try and put those 8 glasses of water into your system. I'm doing it now. I'm putting more and more water into my system. I'm finding it's changing a lot. It's changing my diet. It's changing my health. It's changing a lot of internal stuff going on that I'm feeling it. And get outside. Get outside. Get that fresh air. Again, these things are free. They don't cost anything. It's nothing to get outside and have a cold shower and drink some water and listen to some classical music. I swear to God, just try that. If it's not classical, just listen to stuff that doesn't have words to it. That's the important thing, because words will actually guide your thoughts. So it's really important to have yourself take a pause. And the classical music I find really resets my system. But at the end of the day, to be honest, you got to grit your teeth and you got to go through it. And I was going through a really tough time in 2010, super tough time. And a guy, really wise guy, said, you're in the middle of a blackberry bush and nobody can walk through it but you. You got to walk through it. If you're hurting right now, sometimes that's exactly what you have to do, is you have to walk through it. You got to do it yourself. No one can do it for you. Nobody can do it for you. But on the other side is freedom. It's abundance. It's satisfaction. It's comfort. It's happiness. And you just got to push through it. If you're having a rough time in a relationship, these are things that'll help. It's worth it. It's worth it. Pushing through, pushing past the pain and discomfort of right now to get to the other side is worth it. At the end of the day, at the end of it all, when you're sitting there looking at your past accomplishments, when you're writing the book of your life, when someone's reading your memoirs, it's going to be worth it. It's going to be worth it. Push through. Beat it. Make the trauma in your life part of the concrete of the foundation it becomes what you build your success on. Thank you so much for stopping by on this Financial Freeway episode in the library. And if you haven't already, check out financialfreeway23.ca. There's been some issues migrating the name over. We're going to figure that out, but it looks like it might be about 2 months. And I don't know why, but it's something to do with it being a brand new registered name. Thank you. This is the thing. We're learning as we go, me and Seth. And make sure you check out the blog. Check out the resource page. That's the really exciting part, because we're going to be going on there and reviewing the books that we're listening to on our Commute Financial Freeway MBA program, where you're listening to audiobooks on the way to work. We'll be doing some comments on that, and we will push it through, and there'll be a link there you can get to that'll take you to audible.ca. and you click through the link, it won't cost any more. You'll get a subscription. You get these books. You'll become smarter. You'll become the most intelligent guy, the most interesting man in the room. And yeah, it's just a good thing all around. But again, as I say all the time, if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you subscribe. And if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you give me a thumbs up and also share, because that's the important thing. Is we really want to get this out to people, to give everyone the knowledge and the understanding that they have an inalienable right to live a life of abundance. Thanks so much. God bless.